The views and opinions of the hosts and guests are their own and do not necessarily reflect the views of the management and staff of Guardian Radio.
And welcome to Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. It is my pleasure to be with you on this second day of December. Where did the year go? Wow. I'll be with you up until the 4 o'clock hour here on 96.9 Guardian Radio. Fresh news, smart talk all day. Excuse me, of course. Our telephone lines today are 323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259 in the family of violence. Toll free 242-300-5720. Our text line is powered by BTC, and it's 422-4796. Of course, standard text rates do apply. We are streaming live on GuardianTalkRadio.com if you got to step out of your car. Or you may be listening on live from Guardian Talk Radio right now. But GuardianTalkRadio.com and, of course, Cable Bahamas Channel 969 or BTC Flow Channel 612. Murder and the death penalty. I'll introduce our special guest in just a second, but I just want to set the table before I bring our special guest onto the show today. Murder and the death penalty. There's a wonderful editorial by Pastor Cedric Moss. So I just want to read a little bit of it before I bring our guest in for the day. It says, even if a person is charged before the courts is found guilty, the government will not punish him by taking his life. Instead, the government will reward him by preserving his life in prison. Sadly, this has been the case for the past 25 years. The last victims of murder in the Bahamas who received justice were a German couple, Horst and Trude Hennings. They were brutally murdered by David Mitchell, who was justly executed for their murders on January 6, 2000. Since January 2000, there have been about 2,300 murders in the Bahamas. While some who committed murder during this period faced street justice and were executed by other criminals, those brought to court and convicted were unjustly rewarded by having their lives spared through imprisonment rather than being justly punished and having their lives taken away through the state execution. This will continue to be our lot in the Bahamas if successive governments continue to reward murderers with imprisonment rather than punish them through execution. Regarding this state of affairs, many are quick to blame the Privy Council. However, the Privy Council is not a hindrance to carrying out the death penalty in the Bahamas. We can and should amend our constitution to ensure that those convicted of murder are mandatorily executed by the state, which an overwhelming majority of Bahamians support. However, successive governments have refused to initiate a referendum to allow Bahamians to vote for this change. This, in my view, is undemocratic. No doubt, some will object to my support for the death penalty by arguing that it is not a deterrent to murder. Others will object by saying it is unchristian. Time and space do not allow me to respond at length to either objection, so I will make two brief responses as I conclude this letter. First, fundamentally, the death penalty is not about deterrence. Instead, it is about the punishment fitting the crime. Punishment by state execution is the only just and fitting punishment for the crime of murder. Sparing a murderer's life is truly a reward, even if that reward is imprisonment for life. Second, rather than being unchristian, the death penalty is Christian and also supported by the New Testament, not only the Old Testament. For example, in Romans 13, verses 1 through 7, while teaching about civic and governmental duties, the Apostle Paul issued the stark reminder that the government does not bear the sword in vain. The sword was the means of execution in that day. In fact, Paul himself faced the death penalty and did not object to it, other than to say he had done nothing worthy of the death penalty. And that's found in Acts 25, verse 11. While many might view it as wishful, my prayer is that one day the Bahamas will have a government that truly values human life at all stages and in all circumstances, and pass laws reflecting the same. This necessarily includes protecting babies in the womb from conception and meting out the just punishment for murder. This, of course, is the words of Pastor Cedric Moss. I also want to add to that with regard to crimes punishable by death. The Penal Code lists aggravated murder, treason, and terrorism as capital crimes. Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. Dr. Tinker, how are you today, my brother? Is your mic muted? Let's see if it's us or him. All right, we'll give him a second.
Yeah, that's me. That's me.
Okay.
The mic was muted.
How you doing, my brother?
Good, man. Good. Definitely a mouthful there. Definitely a mouthful.
Yeah.
So we're gonna definitely piggyback on that.
Yeah.
And just keep the callers at bay for a second, so we can make
Yeah.
a good president, so people can have an idea when they call.
I want to give a quick shout out to my brother Kevin Andrews, who's locked in today. Thanks for listening, my brother. But Dr. Tinker, yeah, we're gonna give you an opportunity to build on what Pastor Cedric Moss placed in the editorial today in the Nassau Guardian, and I read an excerpt from it. You can read the whole thing if you pick up today's paper. But yeah, my brother. So from 2000, since the last execution or capital punishment, over 2,300 murders in the Bahamas. What are we doing?
So, this is a very good topic, and I want to answer this or lay the foundation based on my academic background and teaching in this field for more than 20 years, and living abroad in a place. I think Florida just killed about 20 guys this year. The Governor Ron DeSantis is more than happy to sign the death warrant.
Wow.
After these guys have already exhausted all their appeals.
Yeah.
So he's just signing them away. And but when you're in a jurisdiction like the Bahamas, where the population is quite small, when someone is murdered, it sends chills through society.
Yeah, man.
Because just about everybody might know that person.
Yeah.
And being that the society is so small, having the death penalty is very good in a small society, because it could send a signal that, hey, if you do this, this happens.
Consequences, yeah.
Consequences happen. Now, in the U.S., yeah, somebody gets murdered. It doesn't send a chill too much in society unless the guy is a serial killer. Then everybody freaks out.
Right.
If a guy gets murdered in Hollywood and I'm in Palm Beach County, I don't even phase it. It doesn't bother me. I don't know them. They don't know me. Blase squaze. But in a small jurisdiction, someone that would have gotten murdered, someone knows them, could be an intertwined family. So it's very impactful and very damaging. And since the 1990s, as you mentioned, the 2000 was the last one, it has gotten out of control.
Yeah.
Now, I've heard your article. The article said that we need to amend the Constitution. No, we don't. We don't.
What's your suggestion?
And not even my suggestion. Let's go to the law.
Okay.
So the first thing we must understand, why this happened. Why is the Bahamas crippled in making such decisions? And there's two main reasons. Number one is the laziness of the law and the lousiness of the law, which means when you look at the Constitution, it says that the state or the prosecutor will prosecute crimes in a reasonable time. This thing called reasonableness. What's reasonable to you and reasonable to me is very different.
Right. So it's subjective.
Very subjective. Reasonable to you could be tomorrow.
Right.
24 hours.
Right.
Reasonable to a judge could be 5 years.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
But the guy that's sitting in there, that's beyond unreasonable
Right.
to wait so long. So that's the first thing that is wrong with the Bahamas Constitution under the prosecutorial power, and not just the Bahamas, but throughout the British Commonwealth, even the UK. The problem of reasonableness is a problem. And what this reasonableness does, it backlogs the criminal system. It backlogs them so much where there's no nothing in the prosecutorial or the state position to expedite these cases through the process, or for the judge to get on it and make it happen, or for
Right.
the defense to be on time and come to the matter. It's dragged out too long. And because of that, so I just want to put things in perspective now. And any lawyer or the Chief Justice could call and argue with me here, and we'll have a good argument. Because of the reasonableness delays, it falls into a category that goes against, I think it's the 1998 human rights violation that the UK signed on in regards to the death penalty. Now, before we jump that far, let's just jump back. So we
Right.
talk reasonableness. Now, let's go back to a case called Pratt and Morgan, 1993, because you've already heard this thing called the worst of the worst, but people don't even know where that came from.
Where did it come from?
The worst of worst didn't start in the Bahamas. The worst of the worst came out of a case in Jamaica.
Ah.
Okay, is a case that was mentioned in the Privy Council in Jamaica, where the execution, because of the reasonableness, was carried out or attempted to be carried out after 5 years. And so basically the ruling is widely viewed in the Caribbean, and the legal cases of the worst decision for solvent enforcement of justice, because what they're saying, to be able to carry out the death penalty, it has to fall in this worst of the worst category.
Okay.
And then on top of that, they say, even if you would have met this threshold as the worst of the worst, you need to execute them within 5 years.
Right.
If you don't execute them within 5 years, then it becomes a human right violation, so to speak,
Right.
because you've delayed their process. Now, let me show you one main argument that say you don't even have to go to the Privy Council for their permission. Let's look at the case of Trinidad and Tobago in the 1990s. This is the case that I used.
Right.
Attorney General Lawrence Ramesh Maharaj was the Attorney General under the first Indian government of Trinidad and Tobago, which was Bastio Pandey. They had crazy murders due to the drug kingpins down there. And Bastio Pandey won that election on the fact that he was going to come into office and he was going to instill the death penalty and he was going to slow down the gangs. That was his promise to the people, and that's what he got voted it on. So what Lawrence Maharaj did, he was able to go and look at the law the way it was written. Look at the Privy Council decision in the Jamaica case, which was the Pratt and Morgan case, and he looked and he said, you know what? There is something in the law that we could use, which is called the saving clause. Okay, so what it is that the Constitution preserves the death penalty under something known the saving clause, which protects pre-independence law from being struck down as unconstitutional by the Privy Council.
Okay.
And what you have to do here to use the saving clause is that you have to execute once all appeals are done, and you execute in 5 years, there's no need to go to the Privy Council. But the problem on getting there in that 5 years is the reasonableness, the delays in this reasonableness. That means everyone in the court process, the prosecutor, the judge, the defense attorney, all of them need time limits. You have 60 days to get your stuff in, or 90 days, or 1 year. Let's get it moving. So what Ramesh Miraj did in Trinidad, he expedited the process in the judicial system to meet the timeline.
Right.
And allow them to do all their
appeals
and exhaust it out within that 5 years. And man, right after that appeals was done, I think he had about a month left. The guy is called Dole Shady. You can look it up. It's called Dole Shady. He was an Indian drug lord. He killed about 6 guys in 1 day.
Wow.
I'm talking about the Trinidad government. Executed them because he wanted to make sure he wiped them out within that 5-year time frame. And so basically, when you look at it, you have to fix the reasonableness threshold. And let me give you an example when I talk about the reasonableness threshold. Let's say you come to America and you're arrested. You will see a judge within 48 hours.
Right.
If you don't see a judge in 48 hours, your case is dismissed.
Wow.
Because they're violating your due process. That means you're not going to sit in jail and rot to see a judge.
Right.
See the judge in 2 days, and the judge basically asks you, he's going to tell you what you're being charged with. So you know within 48 hours what your charges are. So then you could find a lawyer or you get a public defender to now represent you. And then within 30 days, you have something known as an arraignment. That's where you now go to court to decide if you're going to plead guilty or not guilty. You enter a plea, known as the arraignment. And this has to happen in 30 days. Without 30 days, case dismissed.
Wow.
Then after you arraign, the state has to bring, in misdemeanor cases, have to bring that case within 30 to 60 days. In many cases, it's 30 days. If they don't bring it to you within 30 days, they're violating something known as a speedy trial, which is guaranteed to you in the Bill of Rights under the U.S. Constitution that you will be afforded a speedy trial. If the state doesn't bring the case to you within that time of speedy trial, we call it Mr. Speedy, case is dismissed. So what I'm getting at, it puts the pressure on the state to bring the charges.
Right.
Without delaying the process. And through the British system, throughout all the former British colonies, the delay of reasonableness, it's what causes them not to meet the 5 years. The lawyers know this now. The defense lawyers know this. So what they can do? You think they can rush the process? Man, I know my boy guilty. He tell me he killed them.
Wow.
But I can use the inefficiency of the legal system to exhaust my 5 years, and after that 5 years has passed, that's when I know, well, whatever happens after that, you're not going to get the death penalty. Now let's start the fight. Because if we fight too hard within the 5 years, they might just speed things up. So when you look at our situation, we have a situation where there's been no intervention of the Constitution to make the system more expedient. Because let's say, Anku, let's say you get arrested in the Bahamas, or I get arrested in the Bahamas. I would want a speedy trial.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to be sitting in those jails waiting in a reasonable time for someone to have a reasonable mind to decide I should see a judge.
Especially if you're innocent.
Especially if you're innocent.
Yeah.
So the fact of the speediness protects the innocent and protects the guilty. But what it does, it could preserve the state the right to carry out executions. Now, according to the letter that you would have read, if the government wants to adjust the Constitution on its criminal procedures, it could take away the 5-year limit. But the problem is, we have a problem with reasonableness.
Right.
Because what you have to do, you have to put time parameters in the criminal justice process. You get arrested today, you see a judge within 48 hours. 30 days, you go and you get an arraignment. 60 days, you get a trial. Let's not waste the time. Let's go through the motions. Now, they could talk about, we don't have enough lawyers, judges, this. Listen, that's all excuses.
Let me give you some of the excuses that I've
Please.
or key reasons for delays, right? Witness issues. Frequent cause or delay is unavailability or non-appearance of key prosecution witnesses, or
But why is that? Why is that, though?
check this out. Or because so much time has passed,
There you go.
their recollection of events fades over time.
That's it right there.
undermines
It's
the conviction
reasonableness.
rate. Mhm.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The case happened, and I hear what's his name, the pot cake.
Mm-hmm.
What's his name? Give me his name.
Leslie Miller.
Leslie Miller constantly hammers this because of the situation with his son, and he say he ain't had a trial yet,
Wow.
and going on. I think he said either 15 or 20 years.
It's
You can
been
imagine.
a while. It's been a while.
You can imagine. So when we look at our state of affairs,
Let me
we look at our judicial system,
I
it's
want
problematic.
to throw a couple others in front of you, so because I just want people who listening to understand what we up against in these court systems, right? I'm not going to read everything, but so they have the witness issues, they have the case management and evidence. Trials are often rescheduled because key evidence is not ready or available. They have the jury system challenges. The inability to impanel a jury has been a major cause of delayed trials in the past. Then there's the logistical and administrative factors, the court backlogs. The sheer volume of cases leads to a general backlog. There's conflicts, non-appearance of the accused or their counsel, and conflicts in counsel's diaries are also contributing factors. There are external disruptions. Well, of course, COVID-19 was a big one. And then there's systemic failures. The Prime Minister Philip Brave Davis has noted that justice delayed results in justice denied, and that the backlogs contribute to a culture of impunity. The government has introduced a 5-pillar approach to crime, which includes measures like establishing a gun court and using virtual courts to help cut delays. So these are some of the things that I'm pulling up as you talk. I just wanted to
all excuses.
Yeah.
Because as a tax-paying citizen of the Bahamas, I don't want to hear none of that.
Yeah.
If the judges can't perform, get rid of them. If the prosecutors can't do their job, get rid of them. But to do that, you have to solve or define what reasonableness is. That needs to go. You're an independent country, the hell with reasonableness. Let's put time limitations throughout the entire criminal justice process so you don't violate the innocent or the accused, because everyone is innocent until proven guilty.
Right.
But let's understand where this comes from. You see, I'm not a historian, but you got to know a little bit of history.
Yeah. Help us.
The reason for this is because when you go back to the UK, this was a tool for the king.
Oh.
If the king disliked you, he could lock you up
Right.
and throw you in jail, and you waiting for a reasonable time to see a judge.
Wow. Okay. That's where reasonable time come from.
That's where the reasonable time
Wow.
comes from. And I can imagine them with their British accent. We will deal with this in a reasonable time.
Wow.
Okay?
Yeah.
Also, the writ of warrant or the writ of arrest. Because there was no such thing in the British kingdom as a search warrant, even they call it a writ. You're subject of the king. Open this door, boy. Open this door. You ain't got no rights. So when we look at American history and we look at how the Americans created their Constitution and created the Bill of Rights, it was all done in hatred against the English. The new Americans didn't want their freedom of religion, speech to be suppressed. They didn't want the right that they couldn't have weapons, so they came up with the Second Amendment, the right to bear arms.
Right.
They didn't want British troops coming into their homes, so they came up with the Third Amendment that says no soldier should be quartered in a residence of a citizen. They didn't want the British coming into their house, so they said the Fourth Amendment protects you against illegal rights of searches and seizures. They didn't want to be charged with a crime twice and self-incriminate themselves, so they came up with the Fifth Amendment saying you can't be charged with double jeopardy. You can't self-incriminate yourself by being forced to talk to the police and then the police using that stuff against you in the court. They came up with a speedy trial. They said if you get arrested, you'll be afforded a lawyer, and your case will be held in a speedy trial process, so you don't rot in jail 5-10 years waiting for your case to be heard by a judge. So all these things were done because of what they experienced by the British. Now, not saying America has the perfect system. America dealt with a lot of racists. A lot of racist bastards are still in the police department and on the court system. But the good thing is that you could fight the system with the tools that are provided to you within the Constitution.
Yeah.
That's the only thing lawyers use to fight against the unjust court system in the unjust policing. Is the same tools that were created more than 250 years ago.
Right. Listen,
so when we look at our Constitution,
we got to run to a break. This is Guardian Radio today. We're talking murder and the death penalty with our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. We're kind of laying some groundwork here to give some solutions as to how we could, deal with some of these criminals who just feel as if they can go around shooting people and killing people and then, getting fed for a couple of years and then come back on the street. There is a way. There is a way to deal with it. We'll be back right after this. Keep it locked.
Girl, Junior just showed me Bella Boy in his phone.
What you mean? He take picture of that good-for-nothing boy?
Shh, you don't want Bella here. You say that. You know she always say that's my good child.
So what he doing in Junior phone?
Oh, he there because the police looking for him. He on their wanted list.
Wanted persons in your phone now?
Yes, child. And when police want to find anybody quick, after something happen, they can send pictures direct to your phone. Go to Google Play or App Store and search for Crack Crime Bahamas. Then pick install and it will go straight to your phone.
There is also a section on missing persons.
Yes, girl. Everybody needs to get this app so police can tell us right away when these people go missing. Just like an alert system.
Yes, it has numbers for Crime Stoppers Bahamas, so you can call and nobody knows it's you. Call directly to Miami and give the information without giving your name or anything about you. I tried the other day, and when I hear Junior and his boys talking about where they hide those guns, I walk quick round the corner and call that number.
Call 328-8477 from Nassau or 242-300-8477 from the Family Islands.
Loss of family members is very isolating, and people who have experienced loss appreciate when others have shared their grief. If you can't be there in person, go to the Nassau Guardian's website online at thenassauguardian.com and visit our obituary link. The Nassau Guardian's interactive obituary link allows you to read the funeral announcement, express condolences, or place photos on the online guest book for 1 full year. Losing a loved one is painful, but that pain isn't the worst thing to happen. Friends, loved ones, colleagues, and neighbors who ignore the loss compound the pain. Should the bereaved family wish to place the obituary and photos on our obituary site, just contact the Guardian's funeral industry partners or the Nassau Guardian. Remember, there isn't one magic right thing to say to someone experiencing loss that will make the loss less painful or easier to bear. The Nassau Guardian's obituary link, available online at thenassauguardian.com. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today, here on 96.9 Guardian Radio with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah. Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker, talking murder and the death penalty. This reality of, since January 6th of 2000, that's the last execution here in the Bahamas. David Mitchell was executed on January 6, 2000. Since then, there have been over 2,300 murders in the Bahamas. And if we don't address it, where are we headed, right? Dr. Tinker, you were talking about the fact that this due process, this reasonable time, we have to address it.
We have to. And one framework that I looked at was basically creating a 5-year completion framework. Okay, if we really want to do this, you could pass legislation that all capital cases must be concluded within 4 years. And some of the excuses that you were given is just in the age of technology. There's no need for that. If defense attorneys can't get it together, then you pull their privileges from practicing. If prosecutors can't get it together, you fire them. And if judges can't get together, you replace them. This is the only way we could put the seriousness of moving these cases forward, because it harms the public.
Yeah.
And it only takes so long for normalcy to kick in. You know, there's something called normalcy. If it's so normal to kill someone and wait more than 5 years on your trial, then we know we're not going to jail, so people kill willy-nilly.
Yeah.
I'm not saying the death penalty is just gonna
It's not a
stop
magic.
murders.
Yeah, it's not a magic pill.
But I tell you one thing. You take them downtown in front of the Queen Victoria statue and you lynch them right there, it's gonna send a strong signal.
Wow, you talking about taking
It's
them
gonna
outside
send a
prison.
strong signal. Listen, you in a small society like this, the government has to be swift, has to be constitutionally legal, but it has to be swift.
Yeah.
Because in general, the Bahamian temperament, no matter what positions they are, is very relaxed. Okay, I'll get to it when I get to it. That cannot be in a system that we have now, where we're seeing American-style killings on an island that's 21/7.
Right.
This island ain't even bigger than Broward County.
Right.
It's not even bigger than a county in Florida. And you're telling me we can't get this under control? So we have to do that. And very importantly, we have to modify that reasonableness to put time limits in there. So when you look at, for example, Court of Appeals hearing, maximum 12 months. Privy Council leave of application, maximum 12 months. Clemency review, maximum 6 months, and you hanging within the 5th year. It could happen. It could happen. And again, we have to go to the Lawrence Maharaj case in Trinidad and Tobago, where he executed 6 gang leaders, which was a major drug leader, this guy called Dole Shady. If you look it up, Dole Shady Buduram is his name, where they all got executed. And crime went down. Sadly, statistically, crime went down.
I was just going to ask, what was the response? Yeah.
It did. Crime went down. But the problem is, after the Panday government lost and the next government come in, nobody followed through with what was done under the Lawrence Maharaj a process, which he created a fast window so this stuff could be done. So when we come to the Bahamian Constitution, one of the main things we have to do is amend Article 17 in the Constitution, which clarifies that execution following due process, regardless of delay, is not inhumane. We have to correct that. Because Article 17 say if you don't crucify them in 5 years, it's inhumane. No. If there is some delay, we can still execute you. But we don't want to just change Article 17 and don't speed up the process.
Right.
Because then we fall into the same thing. Now, I want the listeners to know this process of speeding things up and getting rid of the reasonableness will not just benefit the death penalty. It will benefit all process.
Right.
Land issues, civil issues, rape issues, etc. And one thing I want to mention, and then you could open the lines, is that right now what's going on in England, because England is suffering from this reasonableness, is that they decided just the other day, which they're having a big row about this, they want to get rid of juries and allow the judges to make the decision on rapes and murders.
Wow.
To speed up the process.
Wow. How you feel about that? How you feel?
I would want the jury, man. I would want the jury.
You get in front of one judge and they remember you. Like, yeah, I got you. Nah.
Yeah, I would want the jury, but keep in mind, the unique thing that separates us from the UK is the fact that the UK courts lost their autonomy when they joined the European Union.
Ah, okay.
Because under the European Union, this is where when English prisoners that were on the death penalty appeal, not just to the British Supreme Court, which was the House of Lords, they appealed to the UN, to the EU court,
Right.
and said, because I'm an EU citizen, even though I live in Britain,
Right.
the EU says execution is humane, and therefore I'm appealing that I should not be executed. And the court approved that, which took away the power of England to execute people.
Wow.
We're in the Bahamas. We're not in the EU.
Right.
We're a part of the British Commonwealth.
Right.
We're not part of the EU.
No.
So we don't fall under those laws of the EU. We use the British courts as a place of first reference because their court system is older and they would have established a lot of precedent in cases, so us in the Bahamas could prosecute and use British cases as a standard
Right.
to prosecute cases. But we were never part of the EU.
Right.
So when England lost their rights to not kill, we shouldn't have lost ours. But the Privy Council, they used that case that I mentioned to you in Jamaica and decided to say, you know what, well, we can't really stop them from killing people, but we could tell them, okay, we can put you in a category known as the worst of the worst. And you guys will decide what case is the worst of the worst, but they didn't tell you you couldn't kill.
Right.
But you
It's
need
up to
to
us.
follow your, right, it's up to you, and do it within 5 years.
Right.
And that's it. But we have, like you mentioned, all the reasons why. You can imagine me having problem with case files. Whose problem is that?
Right.
That's the prosecutor's problem. That's the defense problem. Now, until we get more serious, we start disbarring some people and firing some people and say, hey, listen, you need to get this done.
Make them accountable.
Make them accountable, because you cannot allow society to start killing one another because the criminal justice system is not working. You can't do that.
Yeah.
People need to have due process.
Yeah.
Family members that are pissed off, they need to wait, but they can't wait for eternity.
No. And that's why you get the vigilante justice going on.
Right.
323-6232, 325-4316, 325-4259 in the family of violence, 242-300-5720. Call you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Hey, great show, how you doing?
I'm great, my brother.
Wait a minute. Yeah, this problem we have, right, is actually a multifaceted problem, right? There's no silver bullet to solve this problem.
Right.
First of all, right, hanging and capital punishment is a punishment. It was never created to be a deterrent. It just became a deterrent because no one wanted it. Second thing I would make a note on is, right, that we have the problem we have is we are very emotional people in the Bahamas. Everything we do based on emotions. We respond to people on emotions, which brings forth a lot of problems and create a lot of problems. That's why you see a lot of killings. It's because people can't watch out what they say. If someone approach you, right, even in traffic, right, we become very emotional. And that's why it causes a lot of problems. Sometimes it's best not to say nothing at all than to say something to someone just to get yourself out of problems. Third thing I would want to make a note on, right, how does your guest feel about the three-strike law that California used to fight crime? That's interesting, right?
Yeah.
And the fourth thing I want to make a note on, right, is that people need to realize, right, before I go, that one, people in the Bahamas, right, is really rough for certain people in the Bahamas. I've learned recently in the past 2 to 3 years, right, that certain people don't have it as good as us. Some people, right, in the Bahamas, you wouldn't believe it, right? Foxhill Prison is a total doo-doo hole. No one wants to go there. But the problem is, right, some people in the Bahamas see that as heaven.
Wow.
Some people, Foxhill Prison is better lifestyle than it is outside of prison.
Wow.
The reason for that is, right, some prison, you have restaurants serve food. Outside of prison, these people have no idea where they can find a meal. They
I know some fellas who gain weight when they going up there. Yeah.
Just to get a meal.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, me and you, we were not previous to certain lifestyles outside of what we're used to, right? Because me and you I ain't gonna lie to you, right? We accustomed to a high-end lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
You might believe it, it might be normal to you, right? But our lifestyle to some people, right? They see us as rich, as ultra rich. They see us as the pinnacle of living because they're not accustomed to it.
Mm-hmm.
Some people in Nassau Harbor, I noticed recently, right? People don't even have no place to live. I saw in the last 3 months, 4 people told me that they're living in their vehicles.
Yep. I know people.
And the fifth thing I want to make note of before I hang up, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think, in my personal view, I think these people who are doing these killings, right? They are actually serial killers. These people love to kill. It's a mental condition, it's a sickness. The people are sick. These sick people be running around. These are normal people. Which normal people you know like to kill?
Yeah, that's
Think about it now.
That's a
It's a
sickness.
sickness.
You're right. You're right.
So the government itself is attacking the problem wrong. These some sick people out there.
All right,
They have mental issues. They love to kill.
I let Dr. Tinker respond to your comments. Thanks for calling, man. 3 strikes.
Yeah,
What'd you say?
That was a lot of dancing around. That doesn't solve anything. But the 3 strikes rule in California was actually considered to be unconstitutional. Because what the 3 strikes really meant: first strike, you rape the gal, you get 20 years in jail. Second strike, you punch the gal, you get 20 years in jail. The third strike, you went in the store and you sold a lollipop and you got lifetime.
Right.
For stealing the lollipop now.
Right.
So under the 8th Amendment in the U.S. Constitution, it says, it argues something called cruel and unusual punishment. It protects citizens against cruel and unusual punishment. The punishment needs to fit the crime.
Right.
So when they stole the lollipop and get lifetime in jail, that violated the 8th Amendment. Case got dismissed.
Wow.
Or conviction got overruled. So the 3 strikes rule could be good, but at the same time, the third punishment needs to fit the crime. So it doesn't work because it violates the law. So you can't make a law that will violate an existing law.
Right.
So that's why that didn't work.
Right. Caller, you're live here on Guardian Radio today.
Yes, good afternoon, Dr. Inias, and good afternoon to your guests. Hope you're doing
Good
well.
afternoon, caller. How you doing, man?
All right. Well, the gentleman, I think his name is Dr. Tinker.
Yes.
When he said cruel and unusual treatment or punishment, right?
Punishment, yeah.
The thing about it is that when we're discussing this crime situation that we're in, right? I think it's a bit tricky because here you have people who are being ill-educated, ill-equipped for life. You understand? They're not being educated properly, etc. And as a matter of fact, they're being educated to be the type of individuals that we see today. The system that we live in is designed to produce exactly the type of individuals that we see. So what we see is a symptom of the problem. You know what I mean? So I see it like almost like an innocent suffering for guilty in a way, even though y'all might say people are supposed to know better, etc., right? We live in a world and in a system where there's no real positive role models or positive things that people could reach out to in our society. Just full of negativity. Everything is just steering people in a particular direction. So I think that even though individuals should be held accountable for the things that they do, I don't feel as if stronger punishment is the way to go. I feel what we need to do is we need to figure out why is it that our society is not equipping people with the proper education that they need to you know what I mean? Because not everywhere in the world has this type of problems. You understand where I'm coming from? This situation that we're talking about is not in every country, in every part of the world. You understand? So we need to figure out what is it that we are lacking here, or what is it that we have too much of here that is causing this thing. And another thing too is that if we are going into a system of things where the prison system is going to be privatized and it's going to be a money-making thing, right, then who wants to destroy the product?
Right.
You understand? You want individuals inside there. You want your place filled because that's free labor, et cetera, like, because, I mean, I understand, because don't forget now, we just had some type of talk the other day where our government was talking about using prison labor for private people, where private individuals could hire people from the prison to work.
Wow.
You know what I mean? So like I said before, we need to stop talking about this thing from the symptoms perspective and start to talk about it from the cause perspective, because these are human beings we are talking about. And had they been properly educated in a system that was different, they would be different. So I mean, even like I said before, individuals should be held accountable for the things that they do, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's try to figure out what is causing this thing. You understand where I'm coming from? And another thing too, and I think instead of putting individuals to death, sometimes when they take lives of other individuals, right? If they take the life of a breadwinner, right? And instead of taking that person's life, let that person wait for the rest of their life and don't make a dime in everything that they make. You know what I mean? Make them, give them some type of gainful employment while in prison, and every dime that they make, go to the people who found they wrong. You understand? Let's do it something like that. But like I said before, let us try to seek the solutions to these problems as opposed to just dealing with the symptoms. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Y'all have a good day.
Thank you. So think, what I'm getting from the call is these things ain't happening in a vacuum. We don't make guns. We don't make bullets.
They're not happening in a vacuum. The caller said a lot, but at the same time, you could blame the government for everything. You could blame your parents for everything.
Right.
Okay? You could blame whoever you want to blame, except for yourself.
Right.
Okay?
At the end of the day, you pull the trigger.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you pull your trigger. Okay? Intent.
Yeah.
Criminal intent. Okay? But he's right to a certain point that the system has people want to react and doing like that. But at the same time, when you fix the system, you got to fix systems in the system, and fixing the judicial system is one part of that problem.
Right.
You gotta fix that, because if you fix that and people move through the process very expeditiously, you then heal families. You get the innocent out of jail, and you put the guilty where they need to go. Once those processes are fixed, then you can deal with other parameters on how people are getting into jail, whether it could be lack of education, lack of opportunities, lack of work, professional, psychological counseling, or marital, or whatever it is that's causing the ill. But you got to fix one of the main issues.
Yeah, it's almost like a triage, it's
a triage, yeah.
Yeah, you got people who got acute, gunshot wound or stab. You got to deal with them. But then you also got people with diabetes. You got people with heart disease. You got people who you got to clean up the system. But we got to deal with some of these immediate things right away, because what's worse in this day and time is things are now being captured on video. They're being spread through social media. And so now, like you use the word normalcy, right? Or the phrase normalcy. Like, people are now seeing these things. It's like a video game for some people now.
Yeah.
They have video games that allow you to kill people and rape people. And now you got these fellas acting it out in our streets. So all of this comes into play. Caller, you're live here on Guardian Radio today.
Good afternoon, Uncle. Good afternoon, Dr. Tinker.
Hey, good afternoon, my brother. I know I can hear your voice.
Yeah, you bet right. But I'll put it to you like this, and Dr. Tinker, before I comment, when you're talking about you got to get some people out and put some people in, we ain't ready to prosecute these politicians backside and send them to jail yet, right? I thought you were talking about the politicians. That's the only profession.
I won't put them in there too.
but then they're incorruptible. They're the only profession, whereas they've never went to jail. You only get Wilbert Morse, who would have gone to jail, but not one politician went to jail in the Bahamas in 52 years. That's unbelievable, eh?
Wow.
Good. But look here. I keep saying, Dr. Tinker, for 23 years I've been saying, and I will say it again, we don't have a crime problem in the Bahamas, We don't have a crime problem. I repeat, we don't have a crime problem. Now, what we do have, though, we have a poorly socialization of our black males and now our girls problem. That's what we have.
That's similar to the previous caller, yeah.
Bahamians are not killing up one another.
Right. True.
Check out the record. The closest we have to a white person killing someone in recent times was that, or being charged with murder. Is this that very bright fellow who was charged for killing the pregnant woman the other day. Everyone else looked like me and you, Uncle.
Wow.
Everyone else. So that ain't That ain't no coincidence.
Yeah.
That ain't no coincidence. And the authorities wouldn't pay attention to what is happening. Fatherlessness plays a key role to what is happening in our black community. We don't want to face the issue, but it's fatherlessness. Then you have child abuse. Dr. Tinker, do you know that 80% of all prison inmates throughout the United States of America were abused at some point as a child?
Hey, I understand that, but one thing I don't do too much is I try not to generate an excuse for the reason why someone will do something heinous. Because when you do that, then people use that as an scapegoat to delay the whole process in the court system, to show leniency for why they did what they did because the parents spanked them with a belt. So I understand, but I don't eat that too much because my parents kicked my butt when I was young and I didn't kill anybody yet. So I think I'm doing good.
You know, this is a conversation obviously that has many different prongs. Dr. Tinker is focusing on the fact that
we're straightening one piece.
Yeah, one piece of it. Let's prosecute people within a reasonable time. Within 5 years, we got to figure out how to do that so the law can have some teeth.
Right. We want to get rid of the reasonableness.
Yes.
We want to prosecute them in time.
Yeah.
With statutory limits on going through the process so people understand the process. Because listen again now, sorry for cutting you off, but
go ahead.
It's not about just lynching these few people.
Yeah.
It's more about your gal or somebody charge you of punching them in the face out of assault. You telling me now you can go and sit in jail for 6 months, a year, until you get bail. If you can't afford bail, you're going to stay there?
I make no sense.
You turning that person into a criminal.
Yeah.
You're going to make them an enemy of the state because they're going to hate the entire process.
Yeah.
Because it took too long.
Let's run to the break here on Guardian Radio today. 96.9, fresh news, smart talk all day. We're going to run to the news, pay some bills. Back after this. Keep it locked.
You try to rest, but roll with the best. For all your printing needs, there ain't no one better, no. For posters and banners, magazines and flyers, for window decals, greeting cards and newsletters. No job too big and there's no job too small. You name it, we can print it. Just give us a call. Let Print Masters bring your masterpiece to life.
Located in the Nassau Guardian Building, telephone 302-2361.
Explore a beautifully preserved 1930s Bahamian colonial home on William and Shirley Street, filled with antiques, collectibles, rare coins, stamps, furniture, vinyl records, and pieces from the Windsor Hotel. Join our private auction Friday, December 5th, 1 to 5 p.m. Register for $50 at bahamasliquidation.com or WhatsApp 557-2522. Enjoy early catalogue access, complimentary drinks, and a private house tour. Then don't miss the free public auction Saturday, December 6th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Card payment only. Delivery available for both events. Register now. Baker's Estate Auction. Preserving the past, one treasure at a time.
This is Guardian Radio 96.9 FM, streaming on GuardianTalkRadio.com and the Guardian Radio app, Nassau, Bahamas. This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today with your host, Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Eneas III, also known as Kahun Anku Sarah, and our special guest, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. We're talking murder and the death penalty. And, we're really talking about this idea, this reality of reasonable time. How long should it take before a convicted murderer, meets capital punishment? Dr. Tinker is saying if we can do it in 5 years, within the law, we can get it done. Let me just run to some text before we go back to Dr. Tinker and, of course, the callers. This text says, the previous caller was incorrect. Obi Wilscombe went to jail, and he went because he stood up for what was right. So Bobby Wilkins was sentenced for 4 days in maximum security prison for contempt of court after refusing to reveal a confidential journalistic source during a coroner's inquest in 2000. And of course, our caller wasn't talking about that type of arrest of politicians. But I got you, Dexter. I got you. Another text here says, I agree with Dr. Tinker. They need to be swift with the death penalty. Eligible cases, maybe put the execution behind the gate and charge to watch. Revenue plus one less mouth to feed and guard in prison. Win-win. All right, Dexter, we hear you. Good day, man. Not only are the politicians not going to jail, their children and family members don't go to jail. Ah, boy. Let's run to this caller, and then we can get back to Dr. Tinker. Caller, you're live here on Guardian Radio today.
Yes, sir. How are you?
I'm well.
Yeah, you know, you just said something about the Trinidadian Indian prime minister, right? And he spoke about how they executed these drug dealers. You know, and I don't know how old he is or you are, but you know, I remember in the Bahamas, you know, the murder count began to rise due to drug trafficking, drug dealers. You know, in drugs, when you deal drugs, you know what I mean? If someone steals something from you or takes something from you, you are really killed. You know, the thing is that you kill the person just to maintain your your respect. Because if you don't kill them for stealing something from you, everybody's going to be stealing from you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's where the murder in the Bahamas came from. Even that in Jamaica, that's where it came from. You know, it seems like that's what happened in Trinidad too. But you know, we I don't know, could you guys address this, some principles, economic principles, you see? And you know, and then I see a couple shows before you, they talk about this productive task force, productivity task force, commissioned by the government, right? I guess, you know. And then the question asked to this the what's his name, the guy from the guy, right? Sumner, right? He asked him about what about the compensation for productivity. You know, like he kind of stayed around it. You see, because you see that has to do with that zero something. I feel like no matter how the production is, it always be those that will want more, want the most, want all.
Well, we need this National Productivity Task Force to jump on the courts.
Right. Then they need to jump on the rights of workers to get wages. And I don't think it's about productivity. You know, it's about fair wages. Everything needs to be fair.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's nothing of, you know, we're a tourism destination. You know, the government they boast about how many tourists arrive, and it's all our cruise ship. Now they talking about overnight. Come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, and in election year, you know, we got to do right in this Bahamas, man, and see this, you know, something. See what in other words, what benefits a particular class. This is in the interest of another class. So how do we address that? That's what we need to address. You understand me? And we have, and all of our governments are the same. That's a problem too.
Yeah.
None of them are opposite. None of them, you understand me? No balance.
Appreciate you, man. Listen, Dr. Tinker, he brought up this National Productivity Task Force, right? I want to throw some things at you to see what you think about it, right? They said that the mandate of this National Productivity Task Force, the NPTF, the primary goal of the NPTF is to enhance productivity, which the government views as the engine for job creation and improved wages. The task force's work is intended to prepare for the formal establishment of a permanent statutory body, the Bahamas Productivity, Innovation, and Competitiveness Council. They will deal with legislative and operational reforms, that's what you're talking about right now, designing the legal and operational framework for the future National Productivity Council. Oh, so they're going to put the framework in for this council. I don't know if they're going to do exactly what we're talking about today. The data collection, conducting surveys to gather feedback from employees and businesses to identify challenges, skills development, etc. What if they aim this at the problem that you're talking about right now?
It would be good, but sadly, this is only cheap. This is only cheap toilet tissue. I wouldn't even flush it. I just burn it because all they're doing is talking, bro. And you see, when I listen to the callers, nothing against them.
Yeah.
But a lot, and I think the reason why the government's able to just bamboozle the populace down there is because they seem to just convolute everything. And not narrow in and strategically solve
focused.
one problem at a time. Stay focused.
Yeah. Yeah, because we talking
You're
about
all over the place.
Reasonable time. If we could get reasonable time right, then we could get some other things right. That's what you're saying.
You see, again, the U.S. is not the best system. Sometimes I hate the system here.
Yeah.
But one thing you could be assured of, if you screw it up, you're going to get locked up.
Yeah.
And you're going to go through the process.
Yeah. Due process.
That's you could assure yourself that.
Yeah. Yeah.
That if the guy comes behind you and puts his light on, there's a chance for you to come in the system, or there's a chance for he to give you a ticket and let you walk off.
Yeah.
That's one thing here that you're assured of. Sadly, if you're black, you might be assured of when you get pulled over, you might get shot.
Boy.
If you keep your hands out of the window.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could see you. Even put your head out of the window.
Yeah.
Then you might.
Hang your body out the window. Why?
You might have a chance. But what I think really needs to take place is that us as a society in the Bahamas have to start trying to focus on solving one hurdle at a time and not get distracted from that. This government can talk all sorts of nonsense that they want to do. It sounds pretty on paper. If you go back to all the other toilet tissue that they wrote on in the last 30 years, 90% of the stuff that they talked about never came through. You could talk about changing all the things you've changed, but it comes right back to the same thing. Reasonableness.
Yeah.
Everything's been being done in a reasonable time, which is not an expedient time.
Right.
You go to the courthouse to get documents, they got to go look it up.
Yep.
You go to the property place to look up a thing, they got to go to the big blue book. Things are not even scanned properly. Things can't be given expeditiously. Everything is a weight. And because of the weight, it screws up the entire system. And then you have a black market system now where people are paying to get in the front of the line.
Yeah.
You can tell me the lawyers can't find their files or there's missing information. You can't hold a jury because why? People ain't gonna let you hold them to a case for years and years and years.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a systemic problem that are in many agencies throughout the Bahamas, and one of the agencies is the criminal justice system.
And unfortunately, there are people who are benefiting off of these.
Big time.
Yeah. See, that's the part for me. That's the part for me.
It's feeding the lawyers.
Yeah. It's just like if you try to catch the bus after a certain time, so once the sun go down, they tell you, the bus ain't running, and then 2 seconds later, someone show up and say, "Hey, y'all want an Uber?" I say, "Oh, y'all working together."
It's very sad, but that's kind of the way it is. Let's even look at the way the way the legal system is handled in the Bahamas is that you can't practically do anything for yourself without using a lawyer. The system makes you use a lawyer for just about everything.
Yeah.
Why should you use a lawyer to close a house deal?
Right.
Or to do some legal transaction that you should be able to do.
I've heard lawyers laughing about that. Yeah, you try to do that without us.
Exactly.
They know they got a grip on you. Yeah. Yeah.
So but like to give credit to some of the other things the callers are saying, sometimes people just get so beat down by the system because it's so suppressive, they react the way they do. But the thing is, we cannot have or allow society to react in such a violent way because it just creates problem for society at large.
Yeah.
The vigilante killing is bad. The domestic violence abuse is bad. The raping of young kids is bad, and all these other things. So you need stiff punishment so you could send a strong signal to say, hey, boy, look what they do to Shockey, boy.
Yeah.
They ask Shockey what he want for last supper. Shockey say he want crack conk, and then they kill him.
Yeah. And see, because let me tell you what, from they give you bail and put one of them little ankle bracelets on you, to me, in some instances, that's a death sentence. Because plenty of these fellas who get and shoot have the ankle bracelet on, just so you know.
Yeah, and yeah, no, I heard that, and also someone who's committed a heinous crime such as murder or rape should not even get bail.
I agree.
They should not get bail. You need to stay in jail. But I heard they're releasing people on these crazy heinous crime for bail because of the overcrowding.
But it's still innocent until proven
It's still
guilty.
innocent and proven guilty.
Yeah.
But the judge has the right to set the bail
Yeah, based
where
on
the punishment fit the crime.
Yeah.
If a guy's on bail and he posts, I don't even know what the bail might be for something like that, but here you commit murder, your bail could be probably $1 million or more.
Right
So
away.
if you gain a guy a jail for an ASU draw,
You can't give him no $1 million, no.
you see, he can get the money.
Yeah. Let's
So,
run.
so you don't have to deny the bail. You just need to increase the bail.
Yeah. Let's run back to the phone lines. Call you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Yeah, I apologize for calling back, but I just wanted to mention one.
Go ahead, brother.
I wanted to ask but I think I want to quick questions.
Yeah, man.
I was talking with just now. But earlier when my brother had called about prison being a better place than some individuals on the outside, that's a reality.
Yes, that is reality.
Yeah, that's a reality.
I know people who live in the car too. So I know that's real.
Because I used to say that too, so I agree with my brother 100%. That's a real thing, you know. And I agree with Dr. Tinker when he's talking about why this justice system and everything else takes so long. I mean, even in cases where there are witnesses, I mean, you know, memory fades over time. You know, people lose the desire to get justice over time. I mean, why not just get these cases on the way? You know what I mean? Like I think I said, it gives lawyers time to formulate some type of story. You know what I mean? To make up some type of a way to get the person off. I mean, you know what I mean?
Or
If
use
someone
it
commits a crime-
use it as a loophole. They use it as a loophole.
Yeah, because if someone commits a crime and the police has charged them with evidence, right, and they've gone before the court, then that means that this case can proceed.
Yes, let's roll.
Yep.
Do you understand? This case can proceed. Why do you have to put it off? You know what I mean? The witnesses' memories are fresh. Everyone has that yearning for justice. Why let it go up there? People can be bribed on the side. Witnesses can be eliminated.
Yeah.
Why do all this nonsense?
Yeah.
People could move, people could die, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, people could move, people could die, everything.
Part of it too. That's a very serious thing too. And I had to do with the 2 points I wanted to ask. I just wanted to hear about the Tinker's opinion on it when I finished giving them, because I don't know if you heard recently, but I saw a video where a gentleman was saying that the prison complex industry, or whatever you want to call it in America, because you know it's private, that they were suing the government because of they didn't fill their obligations of keeping the prisons at a certain occupancy.
I've heard that.
80%. You know what I mean? And I mean, if that's the case, that's you know what I mean? That's a serious thing. But I want, and not only that, but I want to hear with Dr. Tinker what you have to say about. I've been saying for years in this country, I've been asking the question for years, because one time ago I was listening, I heard them. They call up this ridiculous amount of money of how much it costs to house a prisoner in a Majesty's prison. I think it was over $20,000 a year, and I was like, how in
More
the
than
world,
people make it.
How in the world could you come up with $20,000 a year to keep an individual in a cell that's deplorable? You understand where I come from? Where the food they eat is I mean, nothing to brag about, right? But you have individuals out here who don't make that amount of money per year, and they live in out here. You have individuals who don't make $20,000 a year. The population and you're trying to cost you more than $20,000 to house a prisoner in a cell? So, like what Anku was saying, when people making money from things is a serious thing.
Yeah, 17,000.
That crime and these type things become things of business people. You understand? Y'all got to stand up and be aware of what's going on, because you all have to live in this society that these people are creating for you all. So I just wanted to hear what I think I had the opinion on those two things. I mean, like, does he really think it costs that much amount of money to house a prisoner? And how does he feel about the people in foreign, the prison industry, people wanting to sue the American government for not keeping the prisons that I think is 80% minimum of occupancy? Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Yes, my brother. But Dr. Think, I pull up the number. It's $17,369.60. That's a 2021 report. That's roughly $56.07 per inmate daily.
I mean, that only could make sense depending on what's their operational costs. If they're including everything, light, water, food, laundry, medical insurance, and all this other stuff. You know, it just seeing what the breakdown of the numbers. And prison is expensive in a sense to maintain. That's why I'm totally against locking people up for selfless crimes.
Yes.
You know, for stupid things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Get them a notice to appear, and you know, let them see the judge when the time's available. For serious crimes, then you can put him there. But in the case of him talking about the jail as a business in America, it's definitely a business. Many judges and cops and other persons have been arrested for taking kickbacks and briberies, filling up the prisons.
Wow.
You know, when we go back in the history of this, you go back to the emancipation of African slaves in the U.S. when they were emancipated after Lincoln did that. He had to pass the 13th Amendment and the 14th and the 15th Amendment. One was to make them citizens, and then one was to abolish slavery, and one was to make them citizens. And after they would have left the plantations, many of them really couldn't leave because they had nowhere to go. And Lincoln didn't give them the 48. Well, he died, which canceled the 40 acres and a mule. Many states came out with things known as the Black Codes.
Yes.
And within the Black Codes, KKK groups and vigilante groups went out there and just start arresting former slaves.
Yeah.
And putting them in jail for all sorts of stupid things. And this is where they were able to get the free labor from.
Yeah.
And it spiraled into today. That's why many of the jails are very overcrowded with African Americans, because of the same thing that was passed down through tradition, over policing black folks and over policing minorities. Because within the jail systems here, a lot of that labor is being used for different things.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a sad case of affairs.
It is. We got a couple texts. I think a texter heard you wrong. No texter. Dr. Tinker said you do need a lawyer to close the sale of a house. He didn't say you don't need a lawyer. He said you do need a lawyer. All right. Let's see. Trying to see. All right. Let's run to the phone lines here on Guardian Radio today. Call you live.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh,
can you hear me good?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, I heard y'all was talking about the death penalty, right? British stopped the death penalty. What did you define the waste of the weeks? And I heard y'all talking about the 5 years. No, some people were sentenced to death before the 5 years. But British say it ain't a waste of the weeks. Okay, so they ain't nothing to do with the 5 years.
No, you're talking about two different jurisdictions, man.
No. The PV Council is our final court of appeal.
Right.
Am I right?
You're right.
Okay. Cases went to the PV Council before 5 years.
What time frame are you talking about? What time frame are you talking about?
Say what?
What time frame are you talking about?
Well, time after, when any hanging was, okay, let me say this to you. Any hanging take place in the Caribbean?
What time frame are you talking about?
The same 2000 in Jamaica and all them other places. By matter of fact, we have a Caribbean Court of Appeal.
Yes.
No hanging take place. The PV Council stifled the whole Caribbean with the death penalty.
I just gave the example of Trinidad and Tobago.
5 years.
Oh, you're wrong, brother. You're wrong.
No,
you're wrong.
You check it.
I don't have to check. I just told you.
Before the 5 years. And they still say you ain't the waste of the waste. You remember the girl got killed in the graveyard where the fella do the waste of the waste, and that case was brought up before 5 years.
What time frame are you talking about?
The last execution in the Caribbean was carried out in St. Kitts and Nevis in December of 2008.
Okay then.
That's after us. We was 2000.
That rats my case.
Right.
Yeah.
No, but the last one in the Bahamas was 2000.
But 2000. But don't forget my point. What I'm trying to say. The prime minister didn't believe in the death penalty.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter what the prime minister believes in. Is how the law is written.
Mm.
The law dictates what happened, not the prime minister. Prime minister got to appoint the people to the court, and then the Dole Shady execution in Trinidad happened in January 4th, 1999, where they killed 6 of his guys. The system killed 6 of them, and in the Bahamas, the last one was in 2000.
Mm-hmm.
So the worst of the worst. This whole thing about the Privy Council and their stating came from the Jamaican court case, which I mentioned earlier, where they're saying you have to execute them within that 5-year time frame. If it goes over 5 years, then the argument from that case says it's inhumane.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, if you look at Article 17, it needs to clarify the execution.
Right.
Which it talks about due process regardless of a delay, because it calls it inhumane. If someone would have been charged with murder, sat in court for more than 5 years, and then you want to kill them 10, 15 years later, they're saying under the Article 17 that is inhumane.
Mm-hmm.
In the U.S., we have people go to jail and they exhaust the process and they'll be on death row for 20 years, and then all of a sudden they wake up.
Yep.
Hey, what do you want your last supper to be?
Yep.
I'll take two eggs and a pancake. Okay, because you're getting ready to be electrocuted at 3 p.m.
Wow.
So the law here doesn't give a statutory limit on when you can execute, but in the British Commonwealth, it puts that limbo of 5 years.
So we would need to have a referendum to change that that's in the Constitution, or?
It's in Article 17. What I'm saying, to avoid that referendum,
you could just get it in before 5 years, right? I got
Get
you.
it in before 5, because if you go through a referendum, they can water it down and put all sorts of things in it and confuse the people, and then they don't vote on it.
Yeah, let's run back to the phone lines here. Call you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Uncle.
Hey, my brother.
Yeah, what happened? I don't know why I got disconnected. But
I don't know what happened. Go ahead.
But in Florida, they have already executed 17 for the year.
For the year?
Not exceeding 30 for the year in Florida. Our flight away. But then you look at our death penalty. I don't support it in its present state. Okay,
explain.
I don't support hanging.
Mm-hmm. Explain.
Because you'll never see a woman be hung in the Bahamas. It ain't gonna happen.
Okay.
So we have a death penalty in place for men, but we have nothing in place for women. Remember Michelle Woodside?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Rochelle Woodside, or whatever her name was. She was charged with the killing of the nun.
Okay.
The Catholic nun. That was the first time in our modern era a woman was sentenced to death in the Bahamas. Then you had another woman who, along with her boyfriend, they lured his girlfriend sweetheart, whatever you want to call it. They lured her into a house and they murdered her, and they placed her body in a plastic bag and placed it in a dumpster. She was also sentenced to death. But both of them were repealed and they got life or whatever the case may be. They may be out today too. But you're not going to see a woman being hung in the Bahamas. The last woman to be hung in the Bahamas, that was in 1901.
Wow.
1901. So it ain't going to happen. Now, what we need to do, we need to change the method that we use to execute people. Why not lethal injection? Why not make it gender neutral? Make it more humane, so to speak.
Right.
But to put a rope around a woman's neck and then kick the bucket or what have you, that ain't going to happen.
Yeah.
So, and the politician knows this. Another thing, too, maybe you really believe, Anku, the last hanging we had was 1,000, you said, right?
Yeah.
You really believe, and check out who was doing a lot of the killing. The poor black man around the corner, etc. But you really believe the system is trying to protect that poor black man?
No.
By not hanging nobody?
And the poor black man got these expensive gun. Because these gun ain't cheap, but they shooting people with. But I get your point. Dr. Tinker, you want to respond?
So, So he doesn't believe in hanging, but he still believes in the death sentence. And there's no discretion between hanging a woman and hanging a man. I mean, everything depends on that jury. You understand? Everything depends on what the jury find. If the defense attorney is strong enough to argue the case, not because someone charged with murder, they're gonna get the death sentence. They still have to go through the process.
Right.
But in the end of it, if her lawyers was able to appeal and do all these other things, and she gets off, then hey, that's a win for her.
Yeah. Yeah.
But the system did what it's supposed to do, because people got to keep in mind the system is not there to the court system is not designed to prove justice. The court system is only in place to see who's gonna dance the best.
Wow.
Who's gonna perform the best?
Wow.
Is your defense attorney gonna perform better than the state? Is the state gonna perform better than you? I mean, that's what it's there for.
Wow. Wow.
Don't think that, I go into court and I'm going to get justice. What justice are you going to get? The justice depends. Really, the justice depends on whether your defense attorney can do the bogle better than the prosecutor can do the butterfly.
Let me read this text before we go to the break. Good day. Don't let these murderers sit in jail too long. Hang them and save the taxpayers' money. Small crime. Let them clean government and let them go home. Save taxpayers' money. Let's run to the break. Back right after this.
Love the show? Want to give your support? Become a sponsor today. Call 302-2300 for our rates and packages. That's 302-2300. Become a sponsor on Guardian Radio 96.9 FM. Fresh news, smart talk, all day.
This holiday season, give yourself the gift of a fresh start with a personal loan at Fidelity. You could win refreshing prizes like a luxurious spa day, John Boat gift certificates, a cruise for two, and more. Make that move to a fresh start today. Call 356-7764. Promotion ends December 19th.
Fidelity, we're good for you.
This is Guardian Radio, your station for up-to-the-minute news and intelligent, interactive, and engaging conversations. 96.9 FM.
And we're back here on Guardian Radio today. Let me run to the text line, and then we'll go back to the... Go ahead. I can let you jump in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me just read this text.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Excellent talk show today, my brothers. Very valuable information for the general public. In the Bahamas, our judicial system is very much compromised, and every citizen cannot get a fair trial in the Bahamas. Why? We need a better Bahamas today. Sila from Grand Bahama. We are listening 2025. Amen. And that's what Dr. Tinker was saying. If your lawyer can bogle better than the prosecutor, butterfly. Go ahead, Doc. What you want to say?
No, that case that the guy brought up, Michelle Woodside, right? How long did you think that case went on before she was released? Just guess how many years it took.
I don't know, 7 years, 8 years.
17 years.
What? She's in jail the whole time?
In jail the whole time. She was charged with murder in 1991. Wow. Now, before the worst of the worst, the court convicted her in 1 year. She was charged with murder in 1991 to conviction, and the death sentence was approved in 1992. She was convicted of the death sentence in 92.
Wow. So
but the appeal process took forever.
Wow.
The appeal process.
So that appeal process got to take place within the 5 years too.
But in the 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now, she was already sentenced to death, so the court, her lawyer was lousy in the conviction sentencing because she was convicted.
Mm-hmm.
The prosecutor obviously did the bogle better.
Right.
Got her prosecuted. But now, here's the process of going through the appeals. They exhausted the state in appealing, and this is where the state failed to do the bogle correctly. They dropped the ball, and they allowed the appeal process to go on for almost 15 years. And she was released. She was released from
I'm wondering.
prison in
I'm wondering
2008.
how could the state even expedite that? Like, how could they even make? How could they pressure that process to happen within the 5 years? Like, is there a way to do that?
Yeah, you get someone working the case.
So they would have to be like, I mean,
They got to be on it. They
Yeah.
got to be on it, Anku. They got to be on it. They can't keep getting motions from her defense attorney. Hey, boy, look here. I ain't ready yet. Don't rush me because I ain't ready yet. No.
that can't happen.
Appeal denied. If you don't get your appeals in time, they should be denied. But on top of that, the judge needs to be on a time schedule also, because the defense attorney could appeal on time and the judge could be singing the song too.
My
Don't
Lord.
rush me because I ain't ready yet.
This thing deep. Let's run back to the. Let's run to the phone line.
I don't want to convolute.
Yeah, no, but I understand what you're saying. It's so we can stay focused today, but I could hear some other conversations down the road. Let's run back to the phone lines. Call your life.
Well, I know I get cut off or what, but anyhow, what I was saying is that's over 25 years ago, and you wouldn't think they'd have been able to correct that by now to hang somebody. No, the PV Council, they have
But this what Dr. Tinker saying. If we are to expedite the cases, if you could do it within 5 years, it could be done. Even with the Privy Council ruling.
Yeah, but the guy the fellow get charged with murder. The trial is come up way before 5 years in some of them cases.
Yes, that's
the problem.
But it's the appeal process. You could be convicted, but now you appealing for the next 16 to 17 years? Yeah. Let's run to the next caller. Call you live. Caller going once? All right, let's run to the next caller. Caller, you live. All right, y'all look like y'all using the bathroom and y'all phone on hold. But Dr. Tinker, yeah, you we're focusing on this reality of getting things done within the 5 years. But there's much more to this, because if the appeals process is taking, you say the lady was in jail for 17 years and then they just release after that.
She got, according to the records here, she got released in 2008.
Okay.
Is when she got released. Having already served more than 5 years in custody, Woodside was released for time served in 2008.
Wow.
She totally appealed everything.
So the death penalty and everything gone out the window.
And yeah, because basically they showed us some clemency, because in 1991 she committed the murder. The murder of Sister Claire Haas, Catholic nun, took place at St. Cecilia Covenant in Nassau. Woodside was charged with the death penalty 1 year after the crime, because it was a heinous crime. He killed a nun.
Right.
Her case went through the appeal process and clemency reviews. After several years on death row, a prerogative of the Mercy Board commuted her death sentence to life imprisonment in 1997, which would have been after 5 years.
Ah, yes.
But the 5 years time frame, even at this time, didn't even exist yet, because it came out later.
Right. So they still could have gone ahead and do it.
They still could have gone in and make an example out of her.
Yeah. Wow. I think the callers came back. Caller, you live.
Good day, Uncle.
Good day, man.
Again. I agree with you again in regards to these judges and I think the defense attorney always allowed these extensions. The judges always want to go on vacation. So they have to have some type of formula or format where these cases get seen and knocked out quickly, man.
Yeah.
It's just personnel causing all these extensions and things of that nature.
Yeah.
If we got some legislation, I don't know, we have legislation in place to how long after a conviction takes place you're allowed to keep appealing or whatever. But come on now, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man. This is ridiculous, man.
Yeah.
Everything all jam up in our court system, man.
Right.
Boy, let me tell you something. I wouldn't want to get arrested in the system. I might as well tell you.
Exactly. I have a friend of mine right now. He on a court case, and they keep telling him come back, cause him lose his job.
Wow.
And it's he say, he keep telling the people come back, because the judge going on the next case, or this after the prosecutor do it. This guy, that's ridiculous, man.
The recent numbers say there are over 1,000 practicing lawyers and approximately 31 judges and magistrates in the Bahamas. All right. So we need more judges. We got the top.
We need more judges, and we need a system with different formulas to expedite the process during the time frame. And I guarantee you tell me one person that was arrested and saw a judge in the Bahamas in 24 or 48 hours.
That's a good question. Maybe a caller will tell us.
and I surprised all the people. I mean, I don't think people would call and say they got locked up and talk about their case.
Right.
But I'm still shocked the amount of phone calls that come through that could give examples. Boy, yeah, my boy got locked up. He's still remand. He's still waiting to see the judge, and he's been in there for 3 years.
Yeah.
I've heard these stories before. This ain't new. I've heard these. I know you probably have heard someone said they would have went through the. So
yeah, it's and again, like I say, especially if you're innocent, they could destroy. They could destroy. Like the fella just say, you lose your job. You know, you could lose opportunities. You can't travel. You can't do this. You can't do that. This text.
Lose your entire life.
You could lose your entire life. This text says the Privy Council put another stumbling block besides the 5 years appeal process. They brought up that this murder was not the worst of the worst. The caller was referring to a young lady who was raped, murdered, and burnt in the graveyard. But
the Privy Council let the worst to be. They said you'll decide what's the worst.
That's what I thought.
They're not making that decision on that.
Yeah, because even when the young, what's his name, Marco, where the term Marco's alert come from, I thought that could have been the worst of the worst. I mean, the little girl who got killed last year, that could have been the worst of the worst. The old lady who got killed after, that could have been the worst. I mean,
murder in general is the worst of the worst. But where the problem comes in, if the inhumanity comes to play, is when they sit in jail too long waiting to be executed.
Yeah.
That's how you get over. That's how you get past this whole system. They need to go through the process expeditiously.
Yes. Call your life.
Yes, good afternoon. Anku and to Mr. Tinker, Dr. Tinker.
Good afternoon, 52.
He's thinking, and I was thinking, right? And I look at it, I was hearing a lot of stuff, and so the heart of the problem would obviously be the rate of in which the cases are adjudicated, right? And that highlights the problem. But as it relates to the case that Cleaver highlighted, I thought it was Our Lady's Church. I thought the nun was from Our Lady's Church. I might be incorrect, but I remember that case well. But there was a co-accused with her. I think it was a boyfriend at the time because I had read the case, but I can't remember it verbatim, of course. But also one of the dilemmas is people coming to court without legal representation, and so that's another dilemma. And then we have cases. I don't know which one is the worst of the worst, the curse of the curse, but I remember the case where the guy had raped and killed a girl in Nassau Village. Some met you a truck with her. Can't remember if she was pregnant. I don't want to call the person's name to remember the case, but when infanticide or a woman is pregnant and it is visible that she's pregnant, I thought that these things weren't the death penalty. I mean, they have the data and they showed the data on Dwight Stone show like last year sometime. They read the data on which the homicide rates and all that. So they know that it's basically only us killing up one another. So they're not going to enforce the death penalty, which I think the death penalty, in some instances, and Cleaver highlighted the inhumanity of the hanging, which is really outdated. I don't know, rope expensive. So for me, a person should have a choice. The firing squad, the lethal injection is not inhumane. It's a matter, if you think so, I think otherwise, but it's up to your choice. And then obviously the retribution to the family, et cetera, in some kind of way, because you're taking fathers, mothers, and different people from different people. And so it's all a host of problems that they could implement if they want to. And we look at when they killed Tom. I think it was in 2000. Schools should be able to talk about it because he remembered better than me. But Tom, a guy, I think they had shot up Tom's house or attempted to kill Tom. And Tom ended up in a problem where he was accused of killing the guy that he said to shoot up his house, but he was hanged. But what I'm saying is, how all these other people get into the system, but you kill a guy who life was targeted. So these gang stuff and things like that, these guys don't really deserve to get hanged because, I mean, people trying to kill them and they kill them, but it's motive. But what I'm saying is you have cases like armed robbery and murder and the same time and people just walking off and just doing a whole host of different heinous crimes and getting away, just sitting around with the taxpayers' money and creating other dilemmas and finding other loopholes to the system, which obviously everybody knows that the appeal system takes money. And so it's still just, it takes money. And then, I forget something. I really had something important to say, but I really forgot. If I remember, I'll text it back. But I didn't hear anybody mention it at all. I know what I wanted to say. But it's a whole host of problems. I mean, we're not looking at it properly.
Yeah.
So just to add something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the worst case, so talking about the death penalty, like I said, came from that case in Jamaica. The actual phrase, when you talk about worst of the worst, came from another British Commonwealth country, which was Belize, okay, which was in 2002, the Reyes versus the Queen. So in that case, they gave the definition of the worst and the worst, but they still left it up to the locals to decide. So they argued premeditation, carefully planned or contract killing, multiple victims, mass or serial murders, extreme brutality or torture, cruelty beyond what was needed to kill, killing of the vulnerable persons, children, elderly or disabled victim, killing of law enforcement, murder in the course of another grave crime, armed robbery, rape, public danger, acts of terrorism, gang killings that shock society. So just about everything I mentioned down there is happening down there.
All those things are the worst of the worst.
All those things, but keep in mind now, the state can't carry this out if they're not dancing the bogle better than the defense attorney.
My Lord.
Because you still have a jury of your peers. So it's up to the jury to make this decision. The state can't make the decision for you to execute.
All right. This text says, Sister Claire Haas was killed at Our Lady's. So I remember that vividly because I was in grade 5 when that happened. First time contributor here. Thanks for contributing, Dexter. Yeah. We just want to make sure that we're talking about the principles of the case. So thank you for getting those other specifics to us. Thank you very much. Let's run to the caller here on Guardian Radio today. Caller live.
I do.
Hey, how you doing, man?
A question.
Yes.
Why did you and Dr. Tinker change the subject?
Which subject we change?
At the start of this thing, you always talking something about efficiency, right?
Right, about the death penalty.
Right? No, but the efficiency was like,
Reasonable time.
Okay, yeah, but now, did y'all make an assumption that some kind of efficiency was in place?
The Dr. Tinker talked about the 5 years. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's no efficiency in place because things take too long.
Okay. Because in terms of having a conversation, right? We have to, it's like set a baseline, right? Is there, because our government is planning on building a hospital soon, right? Also someplace, right? But in the present complex, there is unoccupied space. Okay, space that they can still use.
Now you ask us why we change the topic. Where you going with this?
No. We talking about efficiency, but okay. So anyway,
we ain't talking about efficiency across the board.
No.
Stay on time, man. Stay on time.
Hey, and we don't have people to actually staff this place they plan on building.
Yeah.
So
I appreciate you call, man. I appreciate you call. Yeah, we on a different run today. Caller. Let's get to the next caller. Caller, you live.
Pastor Enos.
Yeah, how you doing, man?
How you doing?
Great, man.
Professor.
Hey, what do you say, brother?
What's up, man?
Right here, man. Right here.
Go ahead.
We bring in foreign judges there, man, to help out To help out?
You can. Any judge or prosecutor that would have been called to the bar in the UK or even the Caribbean can come in the Bahamas and execute. I mean, and help out in the process because it's the same law. The only thing that's different is the Bahamas statutory law. But when it comes to major laws as criminal law and civil law. That's kind of the same throughout the British Commonwealth.
Okay, and Professor, I know you're not a minister of commissioner, but if you were minister of police of
National security,
would you allow all your police them off duty to still have guns, carry them home?
I would not only allow that, but I would also allow something known as the take-home car policy, where cars are marked and they could be parked throughout the neighborhood. But most importantly, anyone from Nassau will not be able to work in Nassau. They would have to go to the outer islands. I wouldn't want them because the population's too small. Friends, lovers, it's just it becomes problematic. I would send them out for a 5 or 10 year term and go work in the outer island, and then you can come back to Nassau. But I would constantly rotate them.
Interesting. Yeah. That's a whole nother show.
Yeah, that's another. Yeah, you're right. So let me just say one thing. What I see here. So what I was going to say here is is right now in the Bahamas, I guess, what they considered practical constitutional rule. They're saying minor offenses, the target reasonableness is between 1 to 2 years. Serious crime, murder, rape, 3 to 5 years. Death penalty cases, 5 years. They're using these as time frames on when they should finalize the case. That's too long, man.
Mm-hmm.
That's too long. So you imagine a minor case, someone come and steal your iPhone and you got to be tied up in court for 2 years?
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's too long.
And that's why people just don't even bother.
Exactly. So we have a high number of unreported crimes because nobody want to be tied up in the process.
Yeah. Call you live here on Guardian Radio today.
Yeah, Guardian Radio.
Hey.
How you do? Mr. Brother Tinker.
Yes.
You turned me on. I was going to say something, but Tinker said something about the phone. Right? Somebody came into my house, moved my cell phone. I know it only could have been that person. This was a Friday. I can remember it clearly. I'm going to be quick on it.
That person.
And that Saturday morning, I went to PTC. I bought another phone, and I gave them the number so they give me the chip back and everything. And the first person called my phone.
Just that person?
Was the person asking for the person who I knew moved my phone. So I went back to the police station. I saved the number. I said, sir, see here? This person just called for the person. They said they been by the person's house. They ain't see no phone.
They ain't see no phone.
That's it. Now, mind you, the person who called, that the first call, before I move over to Southwest Plaza Yard, my phone rang. The person asked me if I still coming that way today.
What?
So apparently the fellow was using my phone at night to talk to people on. Okay? But what I wanted to say is that the certain lawyers go into certain court and they automatically win the cases.
Based on what?
Because of influence.
Based on anything.
And influence. Let's put it in perspective. Influence. There was a guy in the U.S. known as Rudy Cohn, Jewish guy, lawyer. Okay, he was a very vicious lawyer, and his as soon as you bring a case to him, you know what the first thing he asks?
If you're innocent or guilty.
Nope. Who's the judge?
Well, he doesn't know what dime it is.
He won't know who the judge is because he can make a phone call to the judge. Because he said it's not about playing football; it's about knowing who the players are.
But another thing too, then I continue listening. When they were to sentence somebody to jail for life, a life sentence, but they feeding that person every day.
$26 a day.
I'd expect for that person to die. You're supposed to, the minute the judge say life in prison, you're supposed to be there till your lifespan run out. But if you're getting feed 3 times a day, how you expect to die?
You can still get dead.
No, but you're supposed to, whatever in you, that's your lifespan.
So they shouldn't eat it. They just stop them.
No, because your life sentence. When your life run out, that's your time is up.
So yeah.
You have people that in the free world can't eat 3 meals a day.
So your license, you saying they should just eat once a day?
No, they shouldn't eat at all.
Just stop them.
The minute they don't get sentenced for that, whatever they go to jail with, whenever that wear off them,
that's it.
That's their lifetime. That's their life in jail.
Hey, glad some of y'all ain't no judge, but y'all.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah. It's
and the fella them telling the prisoners them what type of cigarette they smoke.
Yeah, man.
What type of food they eat.
Remember, it's a correctional center. You know, they trying to make sure that the people actually they're in a humane space. But I hear you, Call. I hear you. We got a couple of minutes left, Dr. Tink. I want to throw one more last thing at you. I pulled up, and I think this is kind of where we principally were for the whole show, right? A system without consequences typically results in chaos, moral hazard, lack of accountability, and the breakdown of order and social norms. There's increased deviance and crime, erosion of trust and equality and injustice. What say you?
And no, that's absolutely right. When we have a system where we know that it's not working, where we know that there's a bunch of loopholes and way to get around it, it's hard to
Yeah.
It's hard to serve justice in it because people already know what time it is, man. You kill this boy, you can be out tomorrow with your fancy ankle bracelet and we going to the club.
Wow.
You understand? So the law has no teeth.
Yeah.
And it's becoming something now where going to the jail is almost like a reward.
A badge of honor.
Like a badge of honor. Yeah, boy, I see Pinchy them in jail last night, boy, and they was doing the bogle. You see what I'm saying? So in a small society, swift justice
necessary.
Hurts.
Yeah.
It hurts. And it stings really fast because it sends such a strong, you know, when I saw, one reason I go on social media is just to see what happens in Nassau, and I look at some of the videos. And when I look at some of the videos that were recorded on people's telephone or recorded by CCTV or someone's personal camera at their house, and I see the way they're killing people.
Yeah.
Running out of the car, shooting them up, coming over their bodies and shooting them in the face and riddling their bodies and taking their time, walking back to the car and take off. And then the police commissioner come and say, there was a Japanese car and the fella running a blue car, he threw a gun in the bush and he got some chicken wings and he went home. We're looking for the suspect. The suspects is at large. These fellas don't have a care in the world about the system. And it shows you the type of crime which is transnational, which means it came from abroad, that they're now doing in the Bahamas with high-powered rifles.
Yep.
The only solution for that is you execute them within that 5 years. To send such a strong signal. Because if you got young jits coming and shooting up the place, that means they have no regard.
Yeah.
Whether they're gonna be caught or they're gonna be arrested. So you can't play with them.
Yeah.
The country too small for that, man.
It's election time coming up now, so I want to hear what these politicians can start promising, but we can see.
Exactly. Promise.
Yeah.
Promise.
I appreciate
You
you.
got that right.
Our special guest today, Dr. Rudolph Tinker. Of course, he'll be back on the show again very soon. My name is Pastor Dr. Cleveland W. Enos III.